Hi, my name's Stevie from the Carol A. Tate Teaching and Learning Center at SMC. In this video, we're going to discuss the source sandwich, which is a tool for providing context for the source material in your essays. So why do I need to provide context? Well, it can help the reader understand how and why the source fits into the essay and supports your thesis. It provides credibility to your argument if the reader can immediately see who this person is and who they are affiliated with. It also enhances your own credibility by showing the reader you have thought about the sources you have decided to use. Your sources don't speak for themselves, so you need to do this for them. This is the source sandwich. The sandwich has a top and bottom piece of bread, and yes, the fillings may change just like your sources do, but you still need to introduce your sources and provide an explanation to show your interpretation of this particular source. So it's helpful to think of every source, whether a quote, a paraphrase, or a summary, as having three distinct parts. We have the introduction, which is the top piece of bread. We have the source itself, which in this case is the meat, or the vegan-friendly filling, and then the explanation, which is the bottom piece of bread. It supports the entire rest of the sandwich. Let's discuss the top piece of bread first. So within the introduction, you'll need to introduce the author and the title of the source, whether it's an article, book, or chapter title, the very first time you use it. There's no need then to reintroduce it later on in the essay. Use this section to discuss the idea or the argument of the author, and make sure if you're using a quote that you integrate it into a sentence and don't leave it as a standalone quote. To do this properly, use a signal phrase and marker verbs. For example, in the article, The Importance of Underwater Basket Weaving, John Smith explains, and then lead into the source or the quote. Signal phrases and marker verbs are important tools to introduce your source. So what are they? Examples of signal phrases include according to, in their article, in the opinion of, or we can use the author's name and a marker verb. Examples of marker verbs include the author argues, believes, denies, claims, asserts, implies, or others. As you may notice here, this allows us as writers to remove our opinion from the quotes we're using and take a more critical stance. The meat of the sandwich is next. So utilize your source material. After the introduction, integrate your quote, paraphrase, or summary using signal phrases and marker verbs, and do this after the introduction. Don't use too much of a source's words, and only use what's necessary and what will enhance your argument or essay. Too much can be hard to digest, and too little may not make sense. Don't forget your in-text citation. Make sure you look at the MLA video or APA videos on in-text citations linked below for more information on in-text citation. So now we get to the most detailed and most important part of our sandwich. Within your explanation, you should explain why you have chosen this source, how it relates to your thesis, and how it relates to other sources in your essay. Here you can talk about your thoughts or observations. Without this, the whole sandwich falls apart. Let's walk through an example and discuss a source sandwich in action. So within this example, the introduction includes where the source came from. The World Health Organization is a well-known and credible source, but for other sources, it might be necessary to identify what the organization is and why it's credible. That way, your audience knows they can trust your information. So the introduction starts with, according to the World Health Organization, gender roles are defined as, and then it goes into the source. A signal marker was used, which leads the reader into the source, in this case, a quote. So the source, or the meat of the sandwich, goes on to say, a set of social and behavioral norms that are generally considered appropriate for either a man or a woman in a social or interpersonal relationship. Following this quote, there is an in-text citation. Don't forget this step. Next comes the explanation of the source. So in this case, the writer goes on to say, traditionally, men are the ones putting bread on the table. Women stay home to clean and take care of the children. But this is a new century, and these so-called gender roles are hardly existent now, and yet are still focused on so closely today when they shouldn't be. So one of the questions I get asked a lot is, can you eat a sandwich without bread? Well, sure, but it won't be as good. Also, your hands will get really messy, but that's beside the point. This is particularly true for your essay. If you don't provide your source's context or an explanation, your essay just won't taste as good to your reader. If you need help, there are multiple ways to get assistance. The Carol A. Tate Teaching and Learning Center is ready to help. Make a writing consultation with one of our writing consultants, like me. You can do this online by clicking on the Teaching and Learning Center page under the Student Resources tab in Wired. There you'll find a link to Academia, which is our online scheduler. Alternatively, open up our new Discord chat and be connected with a consultant quickly during our opening times. We're open between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday to Friday in the summer, and 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Fridays in the fall and spring semester. You can also give us a call at Dowagiac at 269-782-1409 or our Niles Center at 269-687-4862, and we would be happy to make an appointment for you. Thanks for watching this video on providing sources with context. For more study-related videos, please subscribe to the Carol A. Tate Teaching and Learning Center for more study-related content.